Hey, it's me. Don't scratch. Just cleaning up the timelines. Look, eventually, you're gonna hang up the claws, and it's gonna make a lot of people very sad. But one day, your old pal Wade's gonna ask you to get back in the saddle again. When he does, say yes.
What's up, everybody? It's Josh, and oh man, do we need to talk about Deadpool 3. Hugh Jackman coming back to the role as Wolverine. This is epic, and a lot of Marvel fans are super hyped up about it. We've been talking about it on streams, we've been making videos, and in this video, I want to talk about what we can expect from this film. Yes, we are pretty far out from the movie, but there's a lot of clues in comic book runs that Deadpool has been a part of, in the wider plan for the MCU heading towards Secret Wars, and even things that have been revealed by Ryan Reynolds about what he originally wanted to do with Deadpool 3 if it had remained over there at Fox. So buckle up and let's get started. But the first thing I want to say about this film is that it is going to be very big and it is going to be very epic. Now, obviously, bringing Hugh Jackman back already kind of makes it that thing. We're all super excited to see these two actors together. Love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And so, yeah, that's going to be dope. But it's not just going to have these two actors and be very small and isolated in the way that Deadpool 1 definitely was, and in some ways, even Deadpool 2. In fact, Deadpool himself sort of jokes about this in the first Deadpool movie, talking about how the studio could only afford 2 X-Men, and it's Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, or whatever her name and was. I don't really remember.
Negasonic Teenage. What the
Are you bleeping yourself?
You bet your voice and little I am.
That seems weird that you would do that yourself.
But we've heard clues from Ryan Reynolds, we've heard clues from Kevin Feige, from Rob Liefeld, who definitely has been in touch with what is going on with this movie, that this one's going to be very big in scale. It's got to be awesome. Ryan Reynolds says, you know, doing the third one, but also being at Marvel Studios, it feels like the big leagues now, and I expect this movie to be massive in scale, and I definitely think there'll be a lot of jokes and references to Marvel Studios, to Kevin Feige, and the fact that now they have the budget to do all the crazy things that they want to do. And with this super big budget, I expect even more Fox versions of the X-Men. I definitely think that you're going to be seeing other variants and other actors return to their roles as the X-Men to come play in this film with Hugh Jackman, with friggin' Ryan Reynolds, and with Marvel Studios. I think you're going to see at least a few more X-Men, if not a ton of X-Men. Many people are speculating that this film could serve as a final goodbye to a lot of the Fox X-Men characters, or be a segue or a branch in order to get a bunch of these Fox X-Men characters to be in the MCU via the multiverse for Secret Wars. I mean, we've already kind of seen this established in Multiverse of Madness with Sir Patrick Stewart coming back and being Charles Xavier. And it was even rumored that Michael Fassbender was going to come back and end up being Magneto in that film as well. And with the multiverse and through the multiverse, all things are possible. And that takes me to the next big thing to expect from this movie, and that is the multiverse. I think this film is going to go to multiple different universes, not just because of what Marvel Studios is doing, but because Deadpool himself in the comic books has a history of jumping around the multiverse and even killing variants of himself. I mean, one of the most popular Deadpool books is Merc with the Mouth, where Headpool, who is a version of Deadpool that comes from the Marvel Zombies universe, ends up in our timeline, and then he and regular Wade Wilson go on an adventure through the multiverse to try to take him back to his zombie universe. Another really famous Deadpool comic book run is Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, and this is a wild story where Deadpool realizes that there are writers and editors over at Marvel, and that all of the characters within Marvel Studios are just sort of puppets or playthings for these people. And so he goes to kill all of them, trying to then break out of that universe to come to the writer's room and kill all the writers and just cause all of this chaos. It's a very wild story, but within that story, he's doing all these interesting things, killing all of these Marvel characters. And so a lot of comic book fans are already speculating that you're going to see a version of Deadpool like that, where you may essentially combine Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, but maybe maybe it's Deadpool kills the Fox universe because all of them are going away essentially and they're going to be rebooted into the 616, or maybe a version of Merc with the Mouth where he's jumping around to different universes. But I think if you look at how Deadpool 2 ended and you look at what Marvel Studios is doing with the multiverse, I believe that what you'll see in Deadpool 3 is going to deal with the incursions. Yeah, that thing that's in friggin' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the destruction of a complete and total universe when different universes collide. And it's sort of explained in Multiverse of Madness that when people visit universes they're not supposed to, they actually up the chances of an incursion happening. There are rumors that incursions are going to play a role in the Captain Marvel movie, in the Fantastic Four movie, and in many different Marvel projects as we head towards Secret Wars, just the same way that Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones was sort of driving this sort of B plot throughout all of the Infinity Saga that's paid off in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. I think you're going to see the destruction of the multiverse via the incursions be playing out much the same, taking us towards Marvel's Secret Wars. Well, Deadpool 2 ends with Deadpool taking the time travel device of Cable and jumping through time, possibly even jumping through universes to do all of these wild, crazy things. And that seems like something that could cause an incursion. And I want to go even further on this because as I was thinking about it, I recall back to that scene in Multiverse of Madness where we visit a Stephen Strange that is still in the Sanctum on a planet that seemingly was part of an incursion, that an incursion happened and destroyed that Earth, destroyed that entire universe, and yet he's still alive. He's still able to live on that Earth. And if you think about it, there are a few characters in Marvel Comics that could survive such destruction, and those two characters happen to be Wolverine and Deadpool. So part of me thinks that the way this movie is going to go down is Deadpool will return back from whatever time-traveling shenanigans he does in the post-credit scene of Deadpool 2, and an incursion happens, and all of these people die. Everything's devastated. It's this really wild moment, and definitely a crazy spectacle to see on screen. And then we pick up maybe hours later, days later, with Deadpool having completely regenerated, walking around this crazy dystopian bizarre, destroyed Earth, where then he happens to find Logan. And then I think him and Logan from that universe will then hop through other universes, discover a way to do that, to try to outrun different incursions. Ryan Reynolds himself has made statements to the fact that originally in his plan, he was going to have Hugh Jackman back, and it was going to be a buddy cop movie with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Wolverine going around experiencing things differently, going through circumstances and experiencing things differently like a Kurosawa film. And I think you will get a version of that. You'll definitely get the buddy cop thing with Wolverine and Deadpool, but I think what's going to end up happening is an incursion. They then jump into other universes. Perhaps that causes even more incursions, and you get this sort of crazy tale of Deadpool and Wolverine hopping around the multiverse and maybe even ultimately like being destroyed. And what I think that is going to do is set up these characters to then be brought into Secret Wars, because we've heard that what Feige wants to do in Secret Wars is have some of the Sony characters like a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man hanging out with Marvel characters and with Fox X-Men characters. His dream is to have characters like Hugh Jackman Wolverine interacting with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and taking all of these beloved old Marvel franchises and putting them all together on Battleworld. And if you look at the timing of the release of Deadpool 3, it will be happening the year before those two big Avengers movies happen. And I think it just makes sense to tie into what Marvel is doing, have fun with a ton of Fox X-Men, do wild multiverse jumping and hopping around similar to what you end up seeing in Multiverse of Madness, and ultimately taking these characters, perhaps a couple of characters from a bunch of different universes, and creating a weird X-Force that then will be active on Battleworld in the Secret Wars movie.
But we're X-Force!
No, we're not. X-Force is just a marketing tool designed by Fox executives to keep Josh Brolin employed. It doesn't exist.
So there you have it, folks. That's my personal speculation based on some evidence and some things being said by Marvel and by Ryan Reynolds onto how the Deadpool 3 movie is going to happen, why I think it's going to be incursions and set up Secret Wars. It's absolutely incredible. If you like this video, smash a like on it and come on by our live streaming channel, man. You can ask me any kind of question you have about all these dope Marvel things. We'll get to it right then and there in the live stream, and we always have a good time over there. And if you're looking to watch more, why not watch this video, which popped up on the screen right now, talking about Kevin Feige's comments about more Scarlet Witch in the MCU and why I think Scarlet Witch is going to pop up having married Doctor Doom. It's right there on the screen right now. Why not give it a click?